Hi, ladies and gentlemen, or whatever. I really shouldn't say that because we don't. I mean, I guess that could be totally different these days, or whatever. But basically, this video here is about getting the alcoholic sober. How to get the alcoholic to sober up, to deal with the alcoholism and all that. And I'm an alcoholic myself. My name's Alcoholic. I'm going by that, and I'm an alcoholic. And and basically, I started drinking alcoholically when I was 5, and then I started, getting people to buy alcohol for me from the store when I was about 8, and I drank off and on pretty steady from 8 on. And then when I was in high school, I was a K-State drinker. And then right now, this is my second day drinking after having 4 years sober. So I know a lot about drinking. Tried different drugs, but
GPS signal lost.
Oh well, that's out. But tried basic, different drugs and all that stuff, everything under the sun. But my favorite was always the alcohol. So in my case, I was in total denial because I was raised in an alcoholic family, so I just assumed it was normal to be hammered and be drinking all the time or stoned or whatever. It was just normal, part of growing up. And then the culture and the time and the age that I was raised in the States, it was real party times and party years and all that. It's still that way now. It's worse. It's just different. So that was part of my denial, was I thought it was absolutely normal to be plastered all the time, and that was just like, so I didn't question it. And today in society or in the world, there's a lot of denial about alcoholism, and they don't really address it. I mean, all they care about is making money off of alcohol and selling alcohol and all that stuff. And then there's some people that are alcoholics and it's a severe problem, and other people it's not. They can have a 1 or 2 drinks and that's it for the night. Whereas me, I think last night I I drank into blackout, and then the guy told me, one of the people that is at the place where I'm at right now, he said that I just started drinking the hard liquor straight from the bottle. I wasn't even using a chaser, so, and then I don't remember the rest of the night. So a blackout is an indicator, but I guess I'm going to talk about how to get the alcoholic sober versus the 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 symptoms of it. I'm talking about if you already know pretty well that they're an alcoholic. So all the denial in society and the people that drink socially normally that don't have a problem with it, it's really hard for the individual to distinguish that they're actually having a problem with alcohol. And I guess, the obvious symptoms are they're calling in sick for work, they're getting DWIs, so forth. But then there's a person that can be a social drinker that just drank heavy once a year and then they get a DWI. So that isn't always an indicator, but it's if they're, late and tardy for work, and then if they're emotionally unstable and they're up and down all the time. And there's different types of drunks. There's abusive ones and angry ones, and then there's nice ones, and there's just a broad spectrum. Just like people, regular people, they're all across. They can have all different personality types. There's no stereotype for alcoholic other than the one stereotype that they've found is that they generally have a higher IQ than the average population. So they've done a lot of different tests on alcoholics, and the difference between them and probably the general population, the ones that have alcoholism, generally have an extremely high IQ or a higher IQ, which isn't necessarily a good thing. And so to get somebody sober, you have to get them to realize that they're having a problem and that it's affecting your relationship with the alcoholic, be it male or female, um, and and you have to gently address, um, try to get the alcoholic to look in the mirror, to break the denial. I guess that's the main thing with alcoholism is the denial. And like I'm not an alcoholic. That's the toughest thing is to get an alcoholic to break their denial. And that's basically what has to happen is they have to break their denial to be able to accept that they're an alcoholic, that they can't drink like other people, they can't control their drinking, and it's a problem. And that's the tricky part. Like I think I was 18 and I was in denial. I thought I was drinking like a case a day and I was doing a bunch of other stuff, but I got involved with some people and I was doing a different type of alternative type of job and all that stuff. And I was confronted with going to jail for a long period of time, having some people kill me, or stopping my drinking. So that basically broke my denial, was basic survival, if you will. You know, all the factors that I got myself into the predicament that I was in at the time was because of my alcoholism. And I had plenty of money, so money wasn't an issue or anything like that. So it wasn't like lack of funds or anything. It was just I got myself into circumstances that were really bad. And I had to go to, I went to one treatment center for 21 days. And I went to another treatment center for 3 months. And for the 21 days, I was still pretty much in denial. I didn't think I had a problem. And then in the 3-month treatment center, I broke my denial there. And in the 3-month treatment center, they had special security to protect me from some of the people I was involved with at the time. And so getting them to break the denial is a biggie. That's the toughest part. And a lot of alcoholics, they drink themselves to death. They lose everything they have. They lose their house and their wife and their children and their job and everything. And they still don't think they have a problem with alcohol. And my brother's that way. He's drinking himself to death. And he's semi-functional. He can hold part-time jobs. And then my sister is drinking herself to death. 2 of my sisters are drinking themselves to death. And one is, they're both functional working people, but they're drinking themselves to death. And gradually, eventually, with alcoholism, you begin to lose everything that you have. And you start to lose your mental faculties. You start to lose your memory. Generally, if you confront them, and sometimes I do that, like I did with my sisters, I just said, you know, you're a drunk. And if they get really angry and really upset, then you know that they are. It's like bingo. You push that button, you hit that spot. So what helped with breaking the denial too, and this is another thing, and this happens to a lot of people, is if you do get the first thing you want to do is you want to get them to go to treatment, or you want to get them to go to a detox. This is life or death. This is a serious thing. You don't want to tell them to just stop drinking on their own, or get them to try to stop drinking on their own unless you want to kill them. If you want to kill them, then that's what you do. You get them to just stop drinking on their own. Because what happens is when you're on alcohol, long enough, your body becomes cellularly addicted to alcohol. And what that means is your alcohol normally, your body normally uses food for energy, for calories, for resources to keep you functioning. And when you become an alcoholic and you're a heavy, hard alcoholic, you stop eating. Like you'll notice if the alcoholic, you want to get sober, they're drinking a lot and they're not eating. And what happens at that point is the body cellularly is addicted to alcohol, and so the body is actually functioning. The cells, the metabolism, the brain, the neural system, everything in the body is running off of alcohol instead of food. So if you tell them to quit on their own and they just stop, their system goes into shock. And they can have a heart attack, seizures, delirium tremors, hallucinations. They become suicidal. They can die. And I've known people that have quit drinking on their own, and they were dead within a few days. They were so proud that they finally, they were going to quit, and they stopped the bottle. And I've been to probably, I don't know, at least 6,000 AA meetings in my life. How it works. Rarely have we seen a person fail who's followed our path. Those who do not recover, people who cannot or will not completely give themselves this simple program, they are such unfortunates. They are not at fault. They seem to have been born that way. They are naturally incapable of grasping. I mean, you can tell right by that. I can read the preamble. I know, but like from backwards and forwards. But anyways, I've seen a lot of people die because they just didn't get detoxed correctly. So if you get the alcoholic to actually face their denial and they want to quit drinking and they're probably physically addicted, like I said, cellularly addicted, they need to be professionally detoxed by a medical facility with the doctors and nurses watching over them when they go through alcohol withdrawals, or they will die. And that's a big mistake that I've seen in the AA. So like I'll see somebody come in and they'll say it's their first meeting, and then everybody will do the first step, And that's great. It helps break the alcoholic denial. The thing that breaks the alcoholic denial is when one alcoholic talks to another alcoholic, because they think differently than people that aren't alcoholics, but they think the same. So once they communicate, they realize, well, I am an alcoholic because I met this other person and they have the exact same thoughts and feelings and problems with alcohol that I do. And that's the best way to break the denial. And the more they do that, the more they break their denial about their alcohol addiction, their alcoholism. But before they get to that point, if you just, I've seen it where people just go to meetings and they don't tell them to go to detox or treatment. If I'm there, at a meeting, we do a first step, and then I get them after the meeting if I can, if they don't dart out. Generally, they don't really want to socialize or talk to anybody, but if I can get a hold of them, I'll tell them they need to go to treatment and detox, because that can kill them. And like I've said before, I've seen people die from quitting drinking, from the withdrawals, so it can kill them. So if you really care about the person and you're trying to save their life, they're important to you for whatever reason, you need to have them detoxed correctly. Basically you would kill the person if you told them to just stop drinking on their own and just put down the bottle and quit. And if they can do that, and they live, they probably weren't an alcoholic in the first place. They probably weren't cellularly addicted, because a real alcoholic would be cellularly addicted. Their body would be living off of alcohol and not food. So I say again, that transition